just looking for some real conversation and a little cup of coffee. We've all been in different situations, so now let's talk about them until you're sitting down and talking it out. You really don't know what someone's about. Come on over for some real conversation and a little cup of coffee. We've all been in different situations, so now let's talk about them. I wanna know what's going on in your head. Let you get it off your chest. 'Cause sometimes that's all that you need. Just a little place where you can vent. When I'm feeling down in the dumps, I talk to Sandra and she always cheers me up. Come on over for some real conversation and a little cup of coffee. We've all been in different situations, so now let's talk about them. I know all the things that you may have heard, but it's always best to get it from them in their own words. The same thing that we all deserve. Come on over for some real conversation and a little cup of coffee. We've all been in different situations, so now let's talk about them. When I'm feeling down in the dumps, I talk to Sandra and she always cheers me up. Come on over for some real conversation and a little cup of coffee. There's no need for any kind of hesitation. Just try to stop me. Come on over for some real conversation and a little cup of coffee. We've all been in different situations, so now let's talk about them.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Sandra. Askin. Tonight, we have a very special guest, but I don't think that I'll do it justice. So I think we need to watch.
Okay, Brian, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Clay Clark introduction voiceover, take one. Whenever you feel it, Brian.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's speaker is the founder of Thrive15.com, the former United States Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year, a contributing writer for Entrepreneur Magazine, and the author of 4 books. He started his first business out of his college dorm room and was named as the Metro Chamber of Commerce Entrepreneur of the Year at just age 20. How's that feeling in there?
Not bad. Not great. It's actually pretty terrible. Could you bring more sizzle?
Okay, sure.
And whenever you feel it.
Since that time, he and his companies have been featured in Forbes, Pando Daily, Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, and countless publications. He has been the entertainer and educator of choice for some of the world's largest companies, including Hewlett-Packard, Valspar Paint, OxyFresh, Maytag University, Boeing, Farmers Insurance, and many others.
Cut. This isn't working.
I could liven it up maybe with like a British accent or Clay Clark, matey, shrimp on the barbie.
Just stop. It needs more energy. It needs more flow. I think only one man can help us. Bring in Randall. The Hype Man!
Oh! The Hype Man's in the house! Hey! Oh! Randall, the Hype Man! What up, Brian? How you doing?
Hey.
Good to see you, bro.
Randall.
Listen, I hear that you got some problems bringing some hype to this piece. You need to hype it up!
That's not even true. It's not what it is.
The master's in session. You gotta listen, all right? I want you to close your mouth, close your ears, and listen with your heart, all right? In order to be a hype man, you gotta rhyme all the time. Isn't that right, Mixmaster Jeff?
That's right.
Listen, you gotta bring the fire that the event requires, all right? So step into my dojo of mojo, and let me show you how this is done. Step back. Here we go. You rolling?
You got it, Randall.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's speaker is the master of the trade. He had to take both algebra and the ACT 3 times just to be here today. He's the co-creator and co-founder of 5 Human Kids, and he'd be making more if he wasn't currently doing this gig. Oh, and that's how you do it. Step up, Brian. Let's go.
Do you want me to just read from the script? Or
Okay, step out. I got more magic in this pot of gold. Here we go. Listen up. Fabulous fellas and lovely ladies, our next speaker is an American dream living boss. He's done what we all wanted to do. He's run for mayor and lost. People, this is the Broda from Minnesota. So cool that the other side of the pillow should have told you. He's more pale than Kevin McHale and more organic than the kale Whole Foods has on sale. Oh, step up here, Brian.
It's actually not as factual as what I was saying.
Okay,
before.
get out. Let me finish this. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for America's self-proclaimed most humble man. It's Mr. Clay Clark! Oh! Let's be dropping the mic.
Hello, Clay. Hello.
Hi. Hey, I really appreciate you allowing me to be on your show.
Thank you for coming on. Okay, listen, I'm going to just jump into something real quick. In thinking about having you on my show, the biggest question I have for you is how do we get men's hearts softened to turn to the Lord?
How do you get people to turn to the Lord? That's the question.
Not people, men. Men, it just seems to be a little harder for them to just turn over to God. You know, like it's harder to get to him because you guys are a little stubborn because of who you are as men.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what I would do, this is my conversion kit. This is my little conversion kit. And I've got a man bear pig with me on today's show with me. James, can you up on mic 2? This is James. James is a man bear pig. And James, let's make sure we can see your face here. James, would you describe yourself as a man bear pig? Would you describe yourself as a man bear pig?
Oh, 100% man bear pig.
Okay, and where are you from, James?
I'm from New York.
Okay, so I'm going to go through this is how we convert people to Christ, men to Christ, the kit. This is a do-it-yourself kit.
Well, it works.
It works because James, I mean, explain to everybody in the pie chart of life, as a New York attorney, James D. Cristofaro, you're busy, your phone's blowing up, your business is blowing up. You showed up in my life as a client. James is a client. People that don't know this, I own a business and businesses, but one of the businesses that I own is called Make Your Life Epic. It's a consulting company where we help people grow their companies. Last year, the average client grew their business by 104%. James is one of them. And James, before you moved to Tulsa last year, what percentage of your day was spent contemplating Jesus, God, things like that?
Not in vain, I would say 0%.
0%. And what kind of things were you thinking about during the day that you could share about on this show?
Nothing.
I mean, seriously though, maybe going to a local bar or restaurant or...
Oh, sure, local bar, restaurant.
Finding a single woman?
Dates, yeah, sure.
That's what you're, right?
Yeah.
And then earning money to impress people.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, and I mean, no, this is real though. And then, previous to my son being born blind, I just wanted to make as much money as possible, which I was good at, to buy crap to give to my wife, which she can't take with her to heaven, and I can't take with me. And my idea was I wanted to chase this beautiful woman, convince her to marry me, and then leave her at the castle and run around and slay giants and bring back cash prizes for my bride, who I was working so hard for the family, but I never would be with the family. You know, working so hard to leave a legacy for the family who didn't know my name. Make sure you work hard to make income for your wife who you never talked to. These are the
and impress people that you don't know.
Impress people you don't know. Yeah, that's the key. So that's really was the philosophy of he and I. So I'm going to ask people to write down the following questions, and you want to. It's a 10-step program. It should take about 10 minutes to share this with your friends and family, and then at the end of it, they'll probably convert to being a Christian. I would say most men. Here we go. Question number 1. You say, "Could I have 10 minutes of your time?" They go, Yeah, okay, yeah, fine. Because they don't know how long it's going to take. Okay, great. Now, that's the precursor question. But here we go. Here are the 10 questions.
That's qualifying.
Question number 1, qualifying question. Does the Mark of the Beast technology now exist? And they say, what? You say, well, in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 18, the book Revelation was written by John, the apostle, while being exiled on the island of Patmos, and he wrote the following. James, could you read this right here? This is from the book of Revelation. Could you read this, Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 18?
Yeah. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads.
Keep going.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
And then just get your phone out and have them Google search W02020060606 patent. And you're going to see that Microsoft now has a patent for cryptocurrency using body activity, so that no man can buy or sell unless they take the Microsoft chip. So,
I don't know who wouldn't be sort of convinced after that, but we have 9 more ways.
We have 9 more ways. Yeah. Question number 2. You say, hey, friend, good buddy. Why is this possible? And they say, what? And you say, well, you see the word corona has 6 letters in it. C-O-R-O-N-A. And why is C is the 3rd letter in the alphabet, O is the 15th letter, R is the 18th, O is the 15th, N is the 14th. A is the 1st.
Well, Clay, that's a coincidence.
Well, what happens is this will happen. I'm telling you. You have 2 reactions that will happen. One is your friend will go, yeah, it's a coincidence. Do you guys want a burrito or something? Hey, there's an Adam Sandler movie on. It's like a denial using humor. And then the second one is the angry. They go, you're a conspiracy theorist. Racist conspiracy theorist. Just because that's the reaction. Okay, but you said, hey, I just want to know if I got 10 minutes. I'm just asking the question. Why is this possible? And they're going, okay, we've had 2 minutes, and you keep going. You say now, okay, next question. Question number 3. Why are international celebrities like Bill Gates, Lady Gaga, Gwen Stefani, Jay-Z, why are they seeking the satanic guidance of the spirit-cooking Marina Abramovich? And then you go to DuckDuckGo, and you show it to them. You just go to DuckDuckGo. You type in spirit-cooking Marina Abramovich, and you show it to them. So, James, you're looking at these pictures. I mean, these are inspiring images. How would you describe the pictures you're seeing right now of Marina Abramovich spirit cooking? How would you describe that?
Satanic, death, worshiping pain, worshiping Satan, worshiping gutting a human, worshiping blood all over the place, head in the middle of a table. Wait, that's a head in the middle of like a dining room table where people are sitting there eating. Okay. There's horns, like the devil's horns wrapped around somebody's neck. There's body parts all over the place. Yeah. There's positive language like crying, pain. That's what it looks like to me. There's like, yeah, this is the cow. Wait, is that a crucifixion on a cow carcass or something like that?
See, and you go, okay. You say, buddy, I don't have time for that. We got to move on.
Thank you for that, Clay.
Question number 4. Why is the CDC calling for the implementation of Nazi-style quarantine camps?
This is a big one.
Now, the CDC, if you type in CDC Green Zone into Google or DuckDuckGo, you'll see that the CDC is calling for the implementation of Nazi-style quarantine camps. James, why is the CDC calling for Nazi-style quarantine camps?
Because they're evil and satanic, and
Question
they
number
want
5.
to limit the population.
Question number 5. Okay. Why was Jeffrey Epstein working to create his own race of people with his DNA? I mean, why was Jeffrey Epstein working to seed the human race with his own DNA? And you just show it to him. You type into Google or DuckDuckGo, Jeffrey Epstein hoped to seed race with the DNA. And they see the New York Times article. They see it right there. You ask him the next question. Question number 6.
I've seen this probably every day now for the past 6 months or a year, and it's sickening now to go over it again.
Next question is, why are Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and others obsessed with transhumanism? Now, James, could you read from Daniel chapter 2, verse 43, please?
Yes. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
What that means is mixing technology with humans. And Elon Musk has a job post he put out on Twitter. He's trying to get people to work for Neuralink, his company. And he says their long-term goal, I'm reading, long-term human AI symbiosis. It says, please consider working at Neuralink. Long-term human AI symbiosis.
Wait, it says ladder. Go back there. It says ladder will be species level important.
Okay. Then you look at the New York Post. The New York Post, the headline is dated March 6, 2021. Could Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chips make us all as smart as he is? And it's talking about how if you literally take a chip in your brain, you'll become as smart as Elon Musk.
That's very natural and biblical.
Question number 7. Why is the Satanic Temple of Texas filing a lawsuit to defend its religious right to child sacrifice? Washington Times. They are literally suing. They're fighting in court for their right to abort children. Okay. Question number 8. Why did Jeffrey Epstein have a satanic temple on his island? And you just show it to him, and you just show it to him. James, maybe you can describe what you're seeing here. I'm going to DuckDuckGo, typing in Jeffrey Epstein Island Temple.
Yeah, so it's a temple that's blue with white stripes, or white with blue stripes with a gold dome. And it looks pretty evil, especially now that we know who it belongs to and where it was.
What do you think he was doing as the world's most prolific pedophile? What was he doing with his temple? Do you think he was praying to Jesus?
No, he was probably pedophiling in there.
Who was he praying to?
Satan. That would be my guess.
You think he was praying to Satan?
Yeah.
You think he was praying to Jesus?
No. Do you?
Well, he's praying to Satan or Jesus. I'm just asking.
He's probably praying to himself.
Okay, next question. Why did the billionaire Bill Gates, who's developing the vaccines, the guy who made the models that said that 2.2 million people might die from COVID, the guy who bought the COVID testing systems, what? Yeah, you see, Bill Gates and George Soros just bought the COVID-19 testing systems. How can you prove that? Okay, great question. Go to timetofreeamerica.com. You click on the truth about the case of inflation, and you'll see the Epoch Times article. It says, a consortium backed by George Soros and Bill Gates has joined the buyout of MoLogic, a COVID-19 testing company. MoLogic, okay. So why did Bill Gates become a friend of Jeffrey Epstein after Jeffrey Epstein became the world's most prolific convicted pedophile? Okay, next question. Question number, we're almost done here. 2 more questions. Why are Luciferians obsessed with wearing masks and standing 6 feet apart? What? Why are Luciferians obsessed with wearing masks and standing 6 feet apart? My friend Sean Foyt, the musician, he's joining us on these Reawaken America tour events. A fabulous. So we think about this. We have General Flynn. We've got Lynn Wood. We've got Sidney Powell. We've got Jim Caviezel, Mike Lindell, all these wonderful people. And one of them that came to speak, his name is Sean Foyt. And Sean Foyt, joined the lineup with Pastor Mark Burns, Bobby Kennedy Jr. And he was out doing praise and worship the other day, James, and guess who showed up?
God.
Look at these people.
Ooh, dressed in black?
Look what it says here.
Antifa?
Look at this post.
Satanist flee Capitol as worshipers show up. All right, look at that. We challenge Boise to bring worship to Satanist march on the Capitol this morning. Tons of worshipers showed up, making the Satanists flee without completing their scheduled event.
The Satanists are literally traveling around the country right now, praying curses over the country.
Why?
Because they're satanic. They're wanting to end the world.
What are they trying to accomplish with that?
Well, what the Satanists are trying to accomplish, but so we understand, just we get the idea. Final question. COVID-19 stands for Certificate of Vaccination, ID, AI, the Great Reset. Klaus Schwab is literally trying to depopulate the Earth's population down to 500 million people. Now, how many people are currently on the planet? The world population.
The 8 billion?
World population, just so we're clear, right now, the world population is 7.67 billion people. So if you were to take, and you say, well, how many times can 500 million fit into a billion? It's 2. So it means that only 1 in 14, 1 in 15 people gets to survive. That's their plan.
And that's worldwide.
Yes. That's why if you go to Brighteon.com and you watch Bill Gates explains. Have you seen Bill Gates talk about depopulation?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that you know the facts, boom, big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. You have the facts. Now, man, bear, pig. You have to pick a side. I don't want to pick a side. You got to pick a side. By not picking a side, you go to hell. Pick a side.
That's
And
true.
if you pick the wrong side, you also go to hell.
Jesus? Did you say Jesus, man, bear, pig? Jesus. Did you say Jesus? Jesus. Are you crying, man, bear, pig? That's what happens. So that's how you have
That's
to see.
perfect.
You have to prove the existence of Satan first to prove to a man, bear, pig the existence of Christ. This is what I have discovered. Because men, for whatever reason, are preoccupied with things that I believe that were created by this world to distract us from God. As an example, I played basketball as a kid and got to where I was really good dribbling with my left hand. Spent a lot of time. How often do I use that skill on a daily basis? Never. How often does it how will that affect my application into heaven as I seek salvation? Not at all. So how many hours did I spend practicing basketball in high school? All of them. How much time did I spend practicing being a good human, knowing the Bible or knowing God? None.
None of them.
Spent all my time preoccupied chasing mindless, frivolous. It says in the Bible we're supposed to seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be added unto you. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be added unto you. I was listening to Matthew chapter 6 this morning while getting ready for work. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. I have never sought his righteousness or the kingdom of God first until January of 2020. Even after my son was born blind, I just I thought, well, okay, I'm going to sell my business. And I my promise, I said, Jesus, if you'll heal my son, I'll believe in you. I'm sure he's going, are you dumb? I mean, I created the whole world. I created your beautiful wife. I've given you all these things. Why would you possibly doubt my existence? Okay, you silly human. I'm not really sure what God's thinking, but he did it. But I know in Matthew, if you listen to the scripture, God at a certain point, Jesus is kind of asking, at a certain point, it's like, how long do I have to suffer humanity who consistently, Jesus, through the book of Matthew, you see all the healings he did. He's running around healing people.
I think the answer is as long as it takes, though.
Well, I'm just saying is that humanity, unfortunately, humans learn through one of two teaching methods: pain or gain. And I have found, because I run multiple companies, and they've done very well. I've built several multi-million-dollar companies. Most people only operate through pain. As an example, people go to thrivetimeshow.com to request a ticket to the Health and Freedom Conference, okay? And the early adopters, they request a ticket. They want a ticket now. They're like, I got to get a ticket. And they go, I heard from my friend that you can name your price. Why would you not go to this event? You could see General Flynn, you could see Sidney Powell, you could see Robert Kennedy, you see Mike Lindell, you see Simone Gold, you see Lynn Wood, you see so many great speakers. Why would you not? there's like 45 speakers in 2 days. You can name your price. Woo! But this is what happens. We are now 4 weeks before the Michigan event.
Yeah.
And now we're having people reach out, and they're wonderful people, but they're going, hey, can I get a ticket to the Anaheim event? And we go, oh, we're sold out. And they go, oh, come on. Oh, man. What? And I go, yeah, we just did it. It was full. They go, oh, why didn't you send me a reminder? Oh, what is it wrong with you? I thought you liked people. Well, I'll book a ticket for Michigan, I tell you. I did drive all the way up to Michigan, don't you know? Up there in the northern. I live in California. How come you didn't tell me? It's because most of us learn through pain. Another example, you tell a guy, you say, guy, don't have sex outside of the context of marriage. Don't do it. And the guy goes, oh, absolutely. This just happened in my life this week with a person in my life. I talked to this person. They go, yeah, I'm having a baby. And I say, this is great. Great, exciting. I have 5 kids. Woo! I'm excited. And they go, no, we're not married. And it happened again. This is now the second time with the same person that they have gotten themselves pregnant to somebody who's not going to be faithful to them. And so we learn through what? Pain. Another example, in business, if you don't call your leads, if you're an attorney, you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, and people reach out to you for help and you don't call them, the customer is going to go somewhere else.
Yep.
That's why it says in Proverbs 10:4, God blesses the hand of the diligent. And unfortunately, most people, again, Proverbs 10:4 says, God blesses the hand of the diligent and he punishes the hands of the slacker. Most people only learn through pain. It's just, they have to have the consequence. So when you prove the existence of Satan to the average man, and that's what happened to you, isn't it?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No, you said come to church, and I came to church and it opened up a whole new realm for me.
So you came to church?
Came to church, then went to church again, then went to church again, and then...
I'm going to argue with you. You argue back. It's her show, but we'll argue real quick.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
You only moved to Tulsa. We only really connected that way because I asked you to come to Tulsa to sue our mayor.
Correct.
Because he was doing a mask mandate during a lockdown.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And if that was not a painful thing for you to live through Manhattan with mask mandates and for me to live through it in Tulsa, we probably would not have taken drastic action.
True. There was a repelling component to New York.
And so the pain caused us to seek gain.
Yeah.
But if things would have just been normal, we would have not had that conversation.
Not for that reason.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, all I'm saying is pain is an incredibly powerful motivator. And I'm just telling you this. It says in the Bible, and I am, folks, somebody out there is going to argue with me about Scripture tonight, and that's cool, because what I think about the Bible doesn't matter. What the Bible thinks about the Bible matters, okay? It says, no, I'm serious. Everybody needs to read the Bible and quit listening to me read the Bible and read the Bible yourself. It says, for the fear of the Lord. Who's the Lord? For the fear of the Lord. Who said that? Where's that? For the fear, it says, for the fear of the Lord. Where does it say that, Clay? King James, Proverbs 9:10. It says, for the fear of the Lord. Who's the Lord? God. Is the beginning of all wisdom. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. I'll repeat. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Fear. I am totally afraid of God. I'm just saying, I do not want to go to hell. So you say, Clay, you're speaking the truth with boldness. Wow, you're courageous. No, I'm not. I know hell is hot.
It's true.
I mean, hell is a hot place, and it says in the Bible, this is real stuff. It talks about that. This is in Matthew. God talks about this, okay? And these are just actual Bible verses. It talks about this in Matthew, that you're either for God or against God.
So Sandra asks, how do you warm a man's heart to welcome God into his life? And your answer is you just beat it into him through fear and through
the fear of Satan. I prove the existence of Satan. I do, and it's a very effective tool. I find it because it says. This isn't me saying it. Proverbs says, for the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And I'm just saying, you're either for God or against God. That's just the reality of it. And I think people feel like, well, I could just be neutral. Get out of here. Matthew chapter 12:30 says, he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. So that's my answer.
Okay, when did you give your life to the Lord?
2007, when my son was born blind and then subsequently healed as a result of God's mercy.
Isn't his mercy just fabulous? I mean, okay, so you talk about fear of the Lord, but there's also this, and maybe I'm coming from the chick space of it, right? But it's the easiest relationship we actually get to have because he already knows us. Like, we don't have to fake it. We don't have to do anything. He loves us and knows us right who we are, right there. He meets us. That is a very special spot too, but that's probably why I can't get the guys to hear me, because I'm a mush pot about it. Because I just love how he loves me. You know what I mean?
How I view it is I'm going, he's watching again. He's always watching.
Always.
I need to get my act together, because there are things that happen. Just today. Just if it's okay, just today. We are moving into a new office, to a new building. We started the construction a couple years back. We're almost done with it, and we're moving. And certain parts, whenever you move, go wrong, because certain contractors don't understand the concept of space and time. So the home builder I have, he gets space and time. He gets the idea that one has to be, for this show today, we called you at a specific time. It's crazy. And you answered at a specific time, and the appointed time it happened. That's how an interview occurs. There are certain contractors that you could never interview on your show because they don't understand space and time. So my home builder is a great guy, Brian Wiggs. That's his name, Brian Wiggs. I call him Big Wiggs, Big Perm. Brian Wiggs. If you're looking for a home builder, you live in Oklahoma, reach out to Big Perm, Big Wiggs, Big Mop, Brian Wiggs. He's got just incredible lettuce, that guy. Great guy. The hair that says he cares. Big Wiggs, okay? That's his website. Big Wiggs. What's his website? It's Brian D. Wiggs. Brian D. Wiggs. WIGGS.com. So reach out to Brian D. Wiggs. He's on time. It's so great. Other vendors, though, they don't get it, though. They don't get it. I'm like, you see, so we're going to move now. I got to be out of this building on September 1st. And now I have to rush, because over the last 2 years, you've been unable to conjure up the time, the energy, the motivation needed for me not to have an intense conversation. So here we are. I'm running around sharing the love of Jesus, and now I'm going to have to get into a table flipping Jesus, because you, who have promised that you would have certain things done by a certain day, are not done on time. And I need you to get done on time. And they go, oh, hey, calm down, we're cool. We don't need to raise our voice. We don't need to I go, well, apparently I do. And they say, oh. And I'm proud that today I did not curse at any vendors, but I wanted to. So I'm going, yes, woo, I get to heaven through works because I didn't curse. Woo, yeah, because that way I can brag. I get to heaven and go, woo, I did it. I did the work needed. But then I read Ephesians and it says that, you can't get to heaven through works. And I'm going, come on. And then I realized that I just committed like 3 sins in a row. A, I cursed in my mind, which is a sin. B, I took pride in my work. I'm like, yes, I'm going to go to heaven because I didn't curse. Yeah. Woo! And then 3, I held bitterness against the contractor who was practicing the art of jackassery.
Just give up, man.
So I'm like, I gotta. And so I just feel like trying to be right with God and repenting all the time is like a never-ending thing for me. It's like an ongoing conversation. That's kind of
how do you have any peace or joy if you're busy being sin conscious as opposed to living and abiding with God as we're moving forward? The sin's already been paid for. We're not supposed to focus on what has been. We need to move forward and be on time.
What you're saying is correct, and it's just that's how my mind bear. That's how my man, bear, pig, man processes it. That's what I do all the time.
I just want to say. Yeah, so I want to know though, like how much practice did it take you to do the man, pig, bear voice behind the hat? Because you seemed pretty good at that.
Oh, the man bear pig voice. I don't know. I do a lot of voices on my show. I do a lot of voices. That's the thing is, our Thrive Time Show podcast was a business school without the BS. I never talk about religion or politics. And it was kind of like Jim Gaffigan meets business. So we have a lot of fun. We laugh, we entertain, we educate. I never thought that I'd be on a show such as yours, talking about things such as you do. COVID-19, the Great Reset, medical fraud, election fraud, get right with God. I never had these thoughts, but here we are. Somehow I've got millions of listeners now tuning into my site. People texting me, hey, I need a COVID-19 vaccine exemption. What's the name of that attorney? Women calling me, my husband's in the hospital. What's the name of that treatment again? Leaders of America saying, hey, what's the name of the weather modification program again? I'm talking to senators who are saying, hey, what's the name of that weather modification program again? I say HAARP, HAARP. They go, what's that stand for? And I go, are you kidding me? They say no. I say, okay. What it is, it's HAARP. It's the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. And that is what allows weather to be manipulated. And they go, how can you prove that? And I say, go to DuckDuckGo and type in Dubai, zap, clouds, rain. And they go, type in what? Dubai, zap, clouds, rain. And they find the CNN article posted May 27th that scientists are now zapping clouds with electricity to make them rain. And they're going, you're not crazy. How do you know that again? So I'm like, I know these things and I share these things.
Is it God? Does God bring them to you? Like, how did you, because here's the thing, you have a lot of information. Like, you're actually, like, everything I've learned over the past couple of years, you're summing up. Like, did God bring you to this? I'm just curious on
Yes. This is what happened. James was very much a part of this, okay? James was probably one of the top 20 people that caused this problem. James is in Manhattan. He's sending me facts. He's texting me facts. Not emojis, but facts. These are facts that I'm uncovering on my own. He's uncovering on his own. And he's sending to me. And it basically, the 5 facts I discovered in January of 2020 were this, okay? Because my listeners were begging me to know, how do I keep my business open? How can I support my family if I'm forced to be closed? If the Wuhan World Health Organization forced quarantines happens, how am I going to support my family? So I looked all this stuff up, and these are the 5 facts I found. This is going to blow someone's mind. And they're all cited at timetofreeamerica.com, timetofreeamerica.com. And yes, I've had a lot of Dayquil today, but that does not impact the clarity of this message. So, 1, the models that said that 2.2 million Americans would die, those are false and funded by Bill Gates. Now, Neil Ferguson was the mouthpiece for the Abdul Latif Jameel Institute, funded by Bill Gates, Neil Ferguson. And Neil Ferguson got up there and says, perhaps we need to look at mitigating and closing down doing a strict lockdown for 12 to 18 months to mitigate the spread of a deadly virus called COVID-19. We need to look at perhaps doing strict lockdowns because he's a complete pansy of a man, and he sounds like what he's saying is being said with love, but he's a horrible, nefarious person. His name is Neil Ferguson. The models that said that 2.2 million Americans would die from COVID-19, those are false. 2, the PCR tests. The PCR test, the COVID test, the PCR test, those are falsely calibrated to inflate the number of cases. And the guy who invented the PCR tests, his name is Kerry Mullis. And he said that Dr. Fauci is a nefarious, pathological liar on video. And then he died in a very Bill Clinton kind of way.
And he also said that the PCR tests are not reliable.
Right.
In a pandemic.
So the models are false. The PCR tests are false. The treatments for COVID-19 that are 100% effective include budesonide, ivermectin, and hydroxychloroquine. You might say, how did you know that the effective treatments for COVID-19 existed in January of 2020? Because nobody knew. It was listed on the NIH website. It said that hydroxychloroquine has found to be an effective treatment for SARS-CoV-2. Okay, fact number 4. Here we go. The shots, the COVID-19 shots, the RNA modifying luciferase-filled fetal tissue technology-filled, Vaccines. The COVID-19 RNA modifying luciferase SM102 filled COVID-19 shots developed by Charles Lieber, Bill Gates, and Jeffrey Epstein were actually patented before COVID-19, the virus, existed. The vaccines were made before COVID-19 was a thing. And 5, there's a document called the Rockefeller Plan. And the Rockefeller Plan was written in 2010. You can download it at timetofreeamerica.com, timetofreeamerica.com. The Rockefeller Plan calls for the creation of a virus and the release of a virus, quarantines, curfews, lockdowns. You can download it all right there. You scroll down the button that says the truth about the Great Reset. It's right there. There it is. You can download the Rockefeller Plan. So knowing all this, and then James finding it too, who's an attorney, and about 10 other guys finding it, 20 other guys finding it. Yep. Dr. Marsh is finding this information. You're finding it. And we're not like sitting down together sharing a mouse going, oh, click over here. There's no group think going on. Each one of us is seeking the truth. Dr. Meehan, Dr. Marsh, James, guys who have critical thinking skills, and they're all finding the same information. I'm going,
Just wasn't making sense.
So I'm going, crap. I gotta leave my comfortable life because I have a, I've done well in business. I have a backyard with a pool, waterfalls. You can swim behind it and be hanging out behind the waterfall. I mean, I'm thinking about like rich people problems, like should the hot tub have a swim up bar or should the hot tub, this hot tub isn't good at all. It only seats 8 people. We should have thought better. We should have had a hot tub that seats 12 people, Thinking about, we should have had a bathroom underneath the stairs so that way when people walk in the house, they don't get wet. That's what we should have done. What we should do, we should get silky chickens because they look good, but then we should also get the other ones because they lay better eggs. And what private school should we send our kids to? And, rich people problems, just dumb, not righteous, focused thinking, just dumb waste of time thinking. Anyway. So
I cannot relate to any of that.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm serious. But
it asked me to start speaking up. I was almost like not an audible voice, but are you going to step up? Like now that you know about it, what are you going to do about it? And I'm going, okay. So I started talking about it on our show, and I started talking about it with governors and mayors, and and every time I met with someone, they go, "How do you know this stuff?" And I go, well, I research. I'm talking to congressmen and, senators. And it occurred that no one else was going to do it. It occurred to me that no one else was going to do it. Then we got to kind of the halfway point. Now we're in July, 7 months into the year. I'm getting some crazy traction. The world is talking about this now. CNN interviewed me, and I essentially won the interview. They do every interview was like a debate. So they just cut off my mic. You saw that. Yeah. So it was like, and there's a victory. Then we were on Newsmax where I called out Bill Gates for choosing to become a friend of the world's most prolific pedophile and for Jeffrey Epstein. I called out Bill Gates for working with Marina Abramovich, a satanic spirit cooker. And then Newsmax kind of cut me off. They were like, okay, bye. Then I was on One America, and it's all this energy, this momentum is happening. And then it happened. So July 2020, I get a text message from Charles Kolaw, who you know, Charles. Yep. And he's a fitness gym owner, Christian guy. He sends me a text and says, watch this video, call me. So I watched the video, and when I watched the video, my initial response was, and again, God knows what I thought. So I'm sorry, God, yet again, see, and I know I'm already forgiven, but it just, there's that moment where I go, oh, I screwed up. So I immediately thought, what is Charles sending me? I don't have time to watch videos from long-haired prophet guys. I got stuff going on.
Yes, that's what I want to know about. You went right where I wanted to go because I want to know, how did you feel, and I'm talking about for real, your inner soul, when you saw this, this prophet.
I'm telling you, I get the video and I'm going, I don't have time to watch long-haired prophet videos, So I hit play, and this is the video. This is what it says.
There's a man by the name of Mr. Clark, and then
it's April 20th, 2013. Okay, so it says,
There's a man by the name of Mr. Clark, and there is also another man by the name of Donald.
And I'm thinking there's a lot of Clarks in America. I think there's got to be, what, thousands of us? I don't know, millions. I don't know, millions, probably thousands. So I'm thinking, it's Donald. And I start to think, who else is as obsessed as I am? Who's getting up at 3 a.m. every day, talking about this till 7 a.m.? And people would ask me all the time, what are you doing today, man? How you doing? I go, I'm trying to save America. Like, what are you up to? Project Save America. I mean, you see that.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I focus on all day. I got a whiteboard behind me that Yahoo now says is the head of the QAnon cult. You know, the mainstream media is asking me how I started QAnon, which I did not start. But behind me is my whiteboard, and I'm just praying without ceasing, and I'm getting, so then I'm going, I'm watching it, so I watch it. And
Man by the name of Mr. Clark, and there is also another man by the name of Donald. You are both watching me saying, could it be that God's speaking to me? Yes, he is.
And I'm going, I did just think that. So I'm watching.
Somebody, just a few minutes before you came on the show, you went out and you took the American flag and you said, I'm proud of my nation.
And I'm thinking, I'm off the hook because I didn't do that. And so I watch it. I'm like, this is good. I'm off the hook. It's not me. It's good. Somebody else.
Somebody, just a few minutes before.
And I'm saying, somebody. Oh, no.
You came on the show. You went out and you took the American flag and you said, I'm proud of my nation. You raised it up. God said, you have been determined through your prayers to influence this nation. You're watching me. You're an influential person. The Spirit of God says, hear the word of the prophet to you as a king. I will open that door that you prayed about. And when it comes time for the election, you will be elected.
And so I put the phone down and go, whoa. So, and there's so many calls that happen real fast. I'm going to try to be accurate with what happened, but there's so much that happened. So I put the phone down. CJ Wheeler calls me. She's with bookitcj.com. You've met her.
Yep.
CJ says, Clay, Jen Pellegrino, One American News, wants to interview you in Washington, D.C. about your book, Fear Unmasked, that explains the models are false, the PCR tests are false, the treatments are real, COVID-19 was created through gain-of-function research, and the patents for the shot were made before the virus came out. Do you want to do this? And I'm going, she talks fast, I talk fast. I go, yeah, go, boom, yeah. She goes, they want to interview Clay. It's probably one of the first books in American history banned from Amazon for hate speech. Who's your agent again? I said, my literary agent represents Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, the football player. Her name is Esther Federkevich. Esther Federkevich. She represents Tim Tebow. And she goes, why did your book get banned? I go, I don't know. They said hate speech. She goes, okay, I'm making it happen. Clay, I don't know what's going on. Your ears must be burning, man. One America's talking about you. I go, okay. Put the phone down. Call my wife. Hey, Vanessa, we've got 5 kids. Hey, Vanessa, can we make it happen? I need to go to D.C. We need to go to D.C. I want you to go with me. I never travel alone, by the way. So I said, Vanessa, I want you to go with me. We got to go to D.C. She says, why? I said, One America wants us to be there in D.C. to talk about the book, Fear Unmasked. It got banned from Amazon. She says, okay, let's go, honey. Put the phone down. Hey, what's up? Rick Manning here. Clay, what's up, man? Rick Manning. Everyone look up Richard Manning. Richard Manning. Remember that name, Richard Manning. He's a Fox News contributor. He's been on Hannity a lot. Richard Manning says, Clay, you're not going to believe this. President Trump administration wants you to come to D.C. on July 16th, 4 p.m. There's a deregulation event. I said, 16th? He goes, yeah, why? I said, I'm already going to be there. I'm doing an event. They just asked me to come to D.C. on July 16th for One America. He says, it's an interesting coincidence. Okay, great. Put the phone down. CJ, Clay, hey, buddy. I'm sorry to blow you up. Newsmax wants to interview you on July 16th at Trump International. So you got and I said, that's crazy. The White House just reached out. She said, what? I said, I got the White House, One America, and Newsmax on the same day. She says, you got to be kidding. She goes, that's crazy. It's crazy. That's crazy. I put the phone down going, I'm not the guy that came to that video because I didn't put out the American flag. I didn't put up the American flag. I'm not the guy in the video. It's a coincidence. Everybody, and so I feel like I skated by. I was like, I don't want that. You don't want the burden of a prophecy. Let me tell you. So I'm going back to my day. Called Aaron Antis, a friend of mine, our mutual friend. He runs Oklahoma's largest home building company. Went to Bible college. I called, hey, Aaron, kind of like Garth from Wayne's World. Hey, Aaron, you know a guy who has prophecy about them? How do they know if it's about them or, you know? He's like, who's that guy? Oh, hey, you know, just, you know, I'll send it to you. Watch it. He calls me back. Hey, I need to come to your house and talk to you about this. And I'm going, oh, no. I put the phone down. I'm like, who's at the door? You know, our office, we keep the door locked.
Yeah.
I only take on 160 clients. It's a closed work environment. It's open inside, but there's no outside visitors, you know. I'm like, oh, come on. I look out the door. It's Nace Roberts, who runs Master Machine. They make parts for Tesla, the U.S. Army. I'm citing all this so your listeners can call these people if they want to. It's MMM-USA. I answer the door. Nace, what's up? He goes, can I come in? I said, yeah. He's looking like Kramer from Seinfeld. He's like, hey, here's the deal. Here's the deal. He got kind of tears in his eyes. He's holding them back. He says, I put up the American flag this morning right before you went on your show. And I said, I'm proud of this nation, and I'm supposed to tell you that. And I go, and then I said, frick, it's me. No, I did. I was like, no. And I'm like, God, why me? And I felt the call. I felt the words were said, you know I exist. I healed your son. Are you going to answer my call? And I'm going, yep. And then without hesitation, began on doing what I was asked to do. So I went to bed. I could not stop crying. I wasn't weeping like, the tears couldn't stop. I asked my wife, I said, Vanessa, I think God wants me to do a Reopen America tour with General Flynn. She goes, well, call him. No. You don't call him. You don't. It's General Flynn. You don't just call him.
It's General Flynn.
It's formal
General Flynn.
Proposal letter. You know, you got to like, DS General Flynn.
Walking with trumpets and on a horse.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that is. You know, I don't know. So she's like, and I'm a pretty bold, aggressive, you know, guy. And she's like, just call him. I'm like, you know. I'm gonna go look in the fridge. You know, I mean, it's like, no.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, I told her, I put on speakerphone. I call General Flynn. This is Clay Clark. I feel like God's asked me to do a Reopen America tour with you. He says, I know.
Wow.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. So then
That's a
we
mic
are
drop.
off to the races. So I call Mike Lindell. I call Sidney Powell. I call, Simone Gold. I call Roger Stone. Next thing you know, Lynn Wood, Roger Stone are reaching out to me. They know that I'm the Clark guy from the prophecy because they're aware of the prophecy. All of a sudden, I got, Delora O'Brien, who was Kim Clement's assistant. By the way, she's going to come speak at the event in Colorado and explain who Kim Clement was.
Sweet.
I talked to Kim Clement's brother. He confirmed it was me, and I'm like, and all of a sudden, it's like God is opening up doors. I mean, literally today, I was just on the Steve Bannon show. We were on the Mike Adams show. I'm on your show. Steve's asking me to come on for another show. There's things that are happening now that are totally biblical in nature. It is a war between Satan and God. If you read Ephesians, it says, for we battle not against flesh and blood. We are literally in a time right now where we are battling against demonic forces that wish to destroy us. And what we have to understand is, and this is big. Someone needs to write this down. This part's big. Maybe you drifted off and you said, I didn't like this story, but this is the part that's big. It says, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, 13. This book was written by Paul, who used to be Saul. He was a bad guy. He fed Christians to the lions, and God revealed himself to him. He became a devout Christian. And Paul was beaten 39 times on 5 separate occasions, yet still found the time to write 13 books of the Bible. While in prison, he writes, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world. Bill Gates, George Soros. Against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand. I really was convicted when I'm reading this. Having done all, folks, wake up. Having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of the peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication of all the saints. And for me, that the utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am the ambassador in bonds, and therein I may speak boldly as I ought to speak, but that ye also may know my affairs and how I do. The point is, we have got to do all we can do to stand. And so I announced we're going to have the event at Rhema, but I didn't know it was going to be at Rhema. I just announced we're going to have the first Reopen America event. Tickets are on sale. I gave out my phone number like I'm going to do right now. I said, if you want tickets to get out to the event, text this number right now. And people go, are you giving out your cell phone number? I said, yes, I'll do it right now. Text the number 918-851-0102. People say, you're giving out your phone number. You're crazy. I said, text the number 918-851-0102 or go to timetofreeamerica.com and claim your tickets. Then, whatever price you can afford, we'll make it possible. I think we should charge about $250. But James, why do we have a scholarship ticket? Why do we do that?
Because you want everybody that needs to come and wants to come to be able to come. You don't want money to be an obstacle.
And I grew up without money, and I know people that are some broke people who are doing some dumb things. Let me tell you about dumb broke. Dumb broke's where you have no money, but you somehow find a way to put spinners on the Honda that you bought. You got a Honda, you get that thing lowered, you get the wheels pulled out to the side. You got no money, but you somehow found money for the spinners.
Yeah.
And when you stop your car, the wheels keep turning. That's dumb broke. I'm talking about casino broke. Like, you go to church on Sunday, but you go to that casino on Saturday night, and you're like, man, I got to get caught up, man. It's an investment strategy. That's dumb broke. I want dumb broke to show up. I want dumb broke to show up. And then I want dumb rich to show up. What's dumb rich? Dumb rich is where you are so busy digging your grave because you are a slave to the materialistic possessions of this planet that you think somehow writing checks is going to get you to heaven. So you, every time there's a church service, they go, we need someone to support the youth group. They're going to Arizona on a youth trip. You get up and go, yes, loudly. You want everyone to know, by the way, because you haven't been reading Matthew. You say, oh yeah. Yeah, if you could put my name on the church, I will gladly donate to the youth group. I will, yes, I want everyone to know. I don't normally like to take credit for it, but I would like to support the youth group. I want dumb broke and dumb rich to show up. I want everybody there. I want idiots like me who are weak people, politically correct idiot people like me who have benefited. I think about this. How many guys died on a battlefield for our freedoms? And then I literally would not utter the phrase or the name Jesus on my podcast for 7 consecutive years so that I could hit the top of iTunes 6 times. And then think about the jackassery of my thinking. I'm working on a book called Mastermind Manuscripts. I'm interviewing all these super successful people, you know, the founder of Netflix, you know, the founder of Square, you know, Damon John, you know, all these people. I'm interviewing them all, and I'm like, if I talk about the deep state, I might not be able to include them in my book because some people might be connected to the deep state. My book. I've been working on my book for years. I was working on the Mastermind Manuscript, the whole idea for this, like, years. You saw that, James.
I did. It's a brick.
And I'm like, this could be awesome. And now I'm going, if I speak out, I could lose those people as friends in my phone. And I worked so hard to be a friend of the deep state. I don't want to lose the deep state. But isn't there a part of the Bible in Matthew where God says to a guy, says, hey, God, what do I need to do to serve you? And God says, hey, you're doing a good job, great job, great job. And Jesus says, you're doing a good job. Now I need you to sell all your stuff and follow me. And the guy's like, all of it? He's like, yeah, all of it. I don't want to sell all of it. No, you need to sell all of it to follow me. Remember when Jesus says, let the dead bury their dead? And some guy says, I can't follow you right now. I got to bury the dead. He says, let the dead bury their dead. Follow me. Follow. What? I mean, there's just this week, just, I did my best. I did my best. There's a lot of that did my best Christianity. And I'm telling you, God called me out, and I'm apologizing. I'm repenting to everybody watching. I'm telling you, you're looking for a spokesperson for Team Jackass? That was me. And America celebrated it. Joel Osteen thinks it's great. Andy Stanley loves it. TD Jakes is excited by it. Let me tell you the jackassery of Andy Stanley, TD Jakes, and Joel Osteen. These people literally get up there every Sunday, skinny jeans, fog machines. They're like a boy band. You know, it's gonna be me. It's gonna be TD. You might have been hurt, but that ain't no lie. And more fog. We need more fog. You know, it's like a boy band. It's seriously, it's crazy. It's like a Backstreet Boys. You know, it's crazy. It feels like Backstreet Boys. It feels like New Kids on the Block. It's Joel Osteen. Stuff. Joel Osteen says, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome everybody to Easter. I know with the pandemic, we've had to shut down. Now, the whole time he knows the models are false, the PCR tests are false, the treatments are real, by the way. We're shut down this Easter, but we're here gathered in this large building. And what I want to do is I wanted to bring on someone to sing during today's service who a large percentage of America's men have had sex with. That's why we brought on Mariah Carey to sing a hero. And it's not Hero. Don't get confused, everybody. It's Hero. She's going to sing. Now, Mariah, you want to sing? And she's got a fan that's blowing. And a hero comes. Have you seen this? No. Oh, it's the fans blowing. And a hero comes along with the strength to carry. And it's all modulated vocals because she can't sing anymore. And and the deep state's on our side. And then he gets up. And now we're going to have the mayor of Houston who let the prisoners out, who's a Marxist. We're going to have him come and preach. And he had the mayor of Houston who's letting out the prisoners from jail, the Marxist. And then now we're going to have Tyler Perry because he has questionable connections to Oprah. Are you kidding me? Prostituting out the pulpit. And then you flip. I can't watch this. You flip to Andy Stanley. Andy Stanley. Well, I just feel like if we read the book Romans and pervert it, it tells us we should stay shut down forever because Dr. Fauci cares about us. And you go, I can't watch it. So you go to TD Jakes, and TD Jakes is like, are you ready to get ready? Are you ready to make money? Good. God wants you to make money. If you just sowed your seeds, you want to text the number. And then he hops off. Hey, everybody, this is TD Jakes. I want to remind you, if you text the number right now to give, and you like us on YouTube, you'll find that on YouTube, I'm not censored on YouTube. A lot of people are censored on YouTube, but I'm not censored on YouTube because YouTube only censors conservatives that share the truth and people who love Jesus. And so YouTube, you'll notice my attendance is growing online. On my subscribers, I'm actually growing. I've teamed up with Oprah. I'm working with Oprah to write a new script. You know, the whole thing. I love Oprah. I mean, are you kidding me? And so I feel like what's going to happen is there's a national, worldwide revival that is starting, but it is starting, and I'm going to quote Tammy Hotzenpiller, the pastor of Influence Church. She's married to Phil Hotzenpiller. They're the co-founders of the Influence Church, the only church in California willing to host an event, by the way, and they're the founders of AmericanFaith.com. It's like Fox News for Christians, okay? Back in the day before Fox News was crazy, objective news from the biblical perspective. Anyway, she says, Clay, the revival is going to happen from outside of the church, and I see it happen.
I just want to show, because this is connected to your website as well, and it is for people that, you know, if you want to find a church that's still...
Yeah. I'll point this out. The guy who, Brian Gibson and I, Pastor Brian, he and I started that movement because I couldn't find churches that were willing to stand up and fight. So I called Pastor Brian, and Pastor Brian's like, he felt called to fight back too. He's a client of mine. And I said, hey, what if we build a website and we help people find churches that are open? And he said, let's do it. And so Pastor Brian down there in Amarillo, Texas, client of mine, we teamed, and I think there's something like 8,000 churches that signed the pledge to open against their local mandates all at one time. And so all I'm just saying is right now, it's not about me. It's not about we. It's about he. And if we're going to win this thing, if we're going to save this country, it's going to be because we turned America red, not red like conservative Republican red. We turned America red with the blood of Jesus. And my thesis will continue to be is that the world needs more Jesus. Okay, yes, at the conference we're going to expose medical fraud and election fraud, explain the Great Reset, and tell people not to take the COVID-19 RNA modifying luciferase fetal tissue filled shots. Yes. But the biggest issue is we need as a country to repent and get back to Christ, because we are living through Matthew chapter 24. And if you don't believe me, just read it out loud today, because we're living through Matthew chapter 24. So that's what's happening. That's why I'm on your show. Outside of that, I'm an irrelevant business guy. I mean, being successful in business is like the least impressive thing you can do. How about the firefighter that goes out there that risks everything to save a family? I mean, athletes, pro athletes, they're maybe more impressive than I am. But I mean, you're good at dribbling a basketball? What? I mean, what? I don't get the people. I mean, the heroes, the police officers that fight every day, the soldiers that have fought for our freedom, and I'm not willing to speak out. I mean, so I'm just saying, God is using me right now, and I hope that nobody builds me up in their mind to be anything other than a man bear pig who's more funny on average than some folks. But I think it's because I stuttered a lot as a kid. I got made fun of a lot, and the emotion that's very close to right at the threshold of tears is humor. And if most funny people, Adam Sandler made a movie about it, most funny people were actually depressed. I made a lot of money as a young guy, and I traveled to Canada and Mexico and Honduras and Belize and Jamaica, and I've been everywhere. And I thought, the world's a lot of the world's really bad. I mean, the fallen places. I mean, God, Aaron Antis, our friend, says God chose Israel and America chose God. And once you get away from those God-fearing countries, it's godless. And I made a lot of money at a young age. I hired a lot of people, had to fire a lot of people, saw a lot of stuff. You know, got sexually abused as a young kid. My best friend died in a car accident. My dad died of Lou Gehrig's disease. You know, and I'm like, well, at least it could get worse. I mean, that's kind of like my life slogan, you know, and I just kind of somehow find humor where people don't, and God's just using me right now. So I can just say, thank you, Jesus. And wherever long God continues to put me on this planet, I think Martin Luther King Jr., someone asked me the other day, they said, are you worried about the death threats you're getting? When I watched Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, he died at the age of 39. And I felt called at the age of 39 to do this. Okay? I'm very aware of his age. Moses stuttered at the age of 40. That's when he got going. And Martin Luther King's Jr. speech, we watched it in the meeting, in the staff meeting. But he says, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm so sorry, but if you type it into YouTube and watch it, he says, I've seen I had a dream. And I've seen the mountaintop. Now, I might not get there with you. Now, he says longevity has its place. I think everybody wants to live a long life. But he says, I'm not worried about that now, because his eyes have seen the glory and the coming of the Lord. That's how I feel. So, I mean, some of the death threats, I had a pretty good one a while back, and I talked to the person who was, are you okay, Mr. Clark? Are you okay? And I'm going, yeah, I actually, as I found out about it, I was kind of excited. I had the emotion I experienced, like if you know you're going to die. I experienced the emotion, and it was actually one of joy. And he's like, well, you have 5 kids. And I'm like, well, in God's sense of timing, 1,000 years is, but you look at God's timeline. I'd really be away from my kids for a matter of hours, which I do every day. And if that'll help being a martyr for Jesus, I'd rather be a martyr for Jesus than to be a coward for the globalist elites, And so I'm kind of all in right. I'm definitely all in right now, but it's a little crazy when you're selling tickets to an event and you don't have a venue yet. I have venues now. That was a little crazy.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How do you, in marriage, how do you keep your wife, like, is her, I don't know how to ask this, but you have to actually put some work in order for her to understand all you're working all the time. Is that God dealing with her too?
One is you would definitely want to interview her on your show because she's the one who led me to the Lord. Two is God has given her a grace that is beyond understanding. You've met my wife.
Oh yeah, sure.
Great woman.
Definitely.
But it's a thing of it is 7:13 p.m. on a Tuesday. My last interview tonight, because there's people internationally. Turns out other people are in the other parts of the world. My final interview tonight ends at 11 o'clock tonight. So, I mean, there's a lot of understanding there. We've talked about it, and we have certain boundaries we've tried to set. I bring her with me to all the events. I saw her quite a bit today. My son is the only student in his class that wouldn't wear a mask. And so my son is like rocking Free America shirts every day, shirts that mock Fauci, Trump. That's 45. Awesome. I mean, he's all in. And he's a target at school now because everyone's like, dude, your dad is the dude who's like, I mean, you have to pick a side. Your dad is forcing every single person to pick a side with your family. I mean, you can't go, I don't know. I mean, you either hate us or love us. So he gets random, people will say to him and our, other kids like, good job, man. Tell your dad he's the man. We did have people driving by recently and honking and telling me to burn in hell randomly. That was interesting. So, you hear that, burn in hell, buddy,
I don't understand that. What is the purpose? And I mean, you've got to be so sad and angry to act out.
I had a guy at Walmart the other day get really, really intense with me. It was pretty interesting. He knew who I was. So he's like, why don't you just put on a mask and you guys that aren't vaccinated are the ones who are spreading the virus anyway? You guys are all going to get what, I'm like, if he understood how vaccine technology worked at all, the theory behind a vaccine is that if you have a vaccine, then you shouldn't worry about people that aren't vaccinated. Because if the vaccine did in fact work and you had a chickenpox vaccine because you wanted to protect yourself from chickenpox, you shouldn't worry about people that aren't vaccinated because you would be perhaps protecting yourself. That's the point. But anyway, so we're watching the Luciferian agenda. They're using fear to take godless people and put them in gear. That's how that works, by the way. Fear puts godless people in a new gear. It takes
snap
godless people and turns them into soldiers for the dark side. That's what fear does.
That is so incredibly true.
It's like a transmission signal. It's like boop, 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 boop. And people who are godless are like, godless person reporting for duty, sir. How can I carry out your horrible plans? And they go, we need to take all the Jews to concentration camps. They go, this makes sense. Okay, I'm going to follow the rules. Because people that don't have God are looking for some type of meaning, and they typically look for rulers to rule them because they don't know God. That's what happens.
You just nailed that. That was beautiful. I'm gonna use that. I'll always give you credit, but I'll be like,
sure. And we hop off. You send me a text, and I'll get my wife on your show because my wife is like, I mean, lasers, pew 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 pew. My wife, my wife was, praying that my son would be healed, while I was simultaneously telling her to stop praying in the house. So,
wow.
Yeah.
We need strong women. I mean, we need strong men too. It's time for the no more soy. Everybody needs to get soy.
No more soy.
Out of your life.
Hey, James, soy. As we wrap up here, I just wanted to see if you could share how much has God impacted you in the last 12 months?
Oh, it's incredible. Going to church or watching it online every Sunday, and also, Clay has mentioned a few times Aaron Antis, who is the he runs Oklahoma's largest home building company, and we've become friends, and we have a Bible study every Sunday where we ask him questions, and another guy in the office here, Sean, and I do that, and we go in with 5 questions and we walk out with like 100, and that happens every week, and so we have more and more questions every week, and it's pretty amazing.
Wow. There's nothing like God, man. I'm telling you. That's the whole bottom line of all this is for God to receive the glory. That's what that's exactly what we got to do. And Clay, I definitely want your wife, because women, we need women, you know, and take out that competition thing and just learn from each other and love on each other. I'm so glad you guys are both here.
The other thing that I think is great and really opened my eyes, you know, I was talking to Anna Kate about this on over in Anaheim, and we referred to this. I asked her if she was the one that was on your podcast, and this was in like October of 2019, and she's the one that said that she has a little bit of trouble listening to secular music, so the only thing that she listens to, with very few exceptions, is praise and worship music. And when I heard that, I'm like, you know what, that's probably going to be me at some point. And I was talking to her about that, and she said that yes, she said that this was October 2019, and she said that with the exception of a few secular love songs, all she does is listen to praise and worship music. So now my praise and worship music is about 2.5 or 3 hours long, my list, and I'm consistently adding different songs to it. And Clay in the office has overhead music that plays, and you know, now I think what is it?
Probably
let's say there's
90%,
90% of it now is praise and worship music.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so We the Kingdom. Do you guys listen to We the Kingdom? They are like the red-pilled Christian music of now. Have you not heard of We the Kingdom?
Hey, listen, we don't go out, okay? What we do here, we do interviews, right, James?
Yep.
And then we sell stuff with our businesses, and then we do more interviews. We need to get out. We need to know this stuff here. So
We the Kingdom. We the Kingdom. The music is, you know that it's from the Lord. Like, it is 100%. You know, one of their songs is Holy Water, and not to take the grace for granted. It's a red pill Christian music, in my opinion. I don't even know if they know they're red pilled, but the words are, it's amazing.
I will listen to it. I will add it to our playlist should it meet the standards. I cannot promise.
Oh, it will.
I haven't heard it yet, but
I'll listen to it first.
I'll listen to it. I appreciate the recommendation. I will listen to it as early as tomorrow.
When you guys hear it,
before I go get ready for the next interview.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful you were here. Thank you. And I'm just going to show the website one more time. Just so